Slacktail Squad, assemble.
If you are listening to this, you are a member of the great Slaptail Nation, my nation. And who am I? I'm the Beaveman, master of the universe, creator of all things great and small, and Lord High Commander of the great Slaptail Nation Army. And with me today, live in the Uniden, is the Rons.
Hey, Beaveman, how's it going, buddy?
It's going quite well. How have things been going on?
Psychotic. That's my answer every day at work, so they leave me alone.
Okay, psychotic is the answer. Also with us today, live from the French Quarter of New Orleans, is our good friend, Gigi.
Hello.
Hello, Gigi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any French fries or perhaps a baguette?
Yes, perhaps a baguette.
Perhaps a baguette. Okay, very well, very well. What a shitty couple of weeks, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much death.
Too many deaths.
Too many deaths. But you know what's good about death?
There's a job opportunity out there for that person who left the world?
Only if they had a job. If they didn't have a job, if they were older.
What about for the funeral director?
I feel like that they've always got stuff to do. They're probably not hurting. Definitely not hurting for business, or if you will, bidness.
Of course.
But you know what? During funerals is some good material. Funerals are good for material.
Oh, what happened at the funeral?
Well, I mean, it's all good. It's all good. So, Ron's, obviously you do not know, but we had our grandmother living with us, sweet little lady, 98 years old. And unfortunately, she passed away.
I do follow you, believe it or not.
Yeah, so unfortunately, she passed away. But while she was here, we got the benefit of her time. I got to write some material about her while she was living with us, which was very funny. Unfortunately, she passed away before my show. And then I was regretting doing my material, but I did it anyway. But as the lead up to her living here, of course, we were dealing with relatives, whether they were visiting, calling, what have you.
Yes. Relatives are not always fun.
No, but they might be good for material.
Relatively speaking, you are correct.
Yeah. I had to deal with the same kind of thing. My aunt passed away who was 99. So very similar to your...
Wait, you're talking shit? You just got to be older than
you're
our grandma?
older. Sorry, bitch. Deal with it.
It's fucked up. It's not a competition, Gigi.
I know, but I won. Just wanted to let you know.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. She was a really wonderful lady. And then
I think we've talked about this before. I mean, we're on the cusp of new technology where you can prolong life. At this point, you're talking 98, 99. Do we want the life to be prolonged?
If your body and her mind was working, but her body wasn't. What are you thinking in terms of prolonging, like prolonging your brain and your
any possible way that you can think of?
What an amazing
robot.
What an amazing way to switch topics when we were, that's all right though. We were talking about material at funerals. All of a sudden Ron's like, what about if we did this? Let's just go a completely different direction.
No.
You know what, guys? I like pudding. You know what, guys? I love pudding.
I get it too. But obviously you both lost loved ones and you want them around, but how long do you want them around?
Longer than we had her.
There we go.
Well, that's not the point, Ron. I mean, Ron's, if you have to, when you love someone, you want them around as long as possible. Yes, but obviously living to 98, 99 is a pretty long life considering for a human. That's not typical.
No.
Okay.
So what happened at the funeral?
Well, it was all the things leading up to it.
What happened at your funeral?
Her family doesn't listen to my podcast, so I can say whatever I want to do. And besides, I'm playing a character, so none of this is real. Oh, so leading up to it, this is so people are so entitled. We say this all the time. While Grandma was with us, her child went on vacation. And before they went on vacation, like literally, I think 4 weeks before they went on vacation, they bought a puppy. Who buys a puppy before they go on vacation?
Who's watching the puppy?
Oh, I'll get to that.
Oh God.
But why would you buy a puppy before you go on vacation?
Because you're an idiot?
Yeah, exactly. Because you have to spend time with a puppy, right? I mean, to get them used to you, used to the environment, used to what you're doing. You don't just buy a puppy and then immediately go on vacation. That's stupid.
That's ridiculous.
So yes, they bought a puppy before they went on vacation. And this was not told to me, but apparently the daughter agreed to watch this puppy. Now,
Which daughter?
My
daughter of the...
My daughter.
Your daughter. Oh, I see. Your daughter.
My daughter.
Okay.
And my wife, the swan, behind my back, decided to watch this puppy.
Oof.
Now...
It's like having
I
a
sense
toddler
a
in the
coup
house.
coming here to overthrow you.
More like a poo.
Yeah. This was a very bad idea. And had they have told me about it, I'd have said, no, we're not watching this fucking puppy because we have grandma here. All of our focus is on grandma, not on a brand. It's different if it's a dog, that's been around.
Right. It's trained. It understands. It can be around people. That's not the family.
Exactly. And then you don't have to take them out every 2 seconds like you do a puppy because otherwise they're going to pee all over your floor. So that's not the case. So they agreed to do this without me knowing about it.
Oh.
And the plan was little grandma was going to live with us for a couple weeks, and then she was going to go live with her daughter for a couple weeks, and then back and forth. Well, it ended up that just happened like one time, and then after that we're like, no, grandma just needs to stay with us all the time. So grandma was with us all the time, and the plan was her daughter was going to take the puppy, and she was going to watch it so that we didn't have to. Well,
yeah,
that didn't happen. What happened was then the daughter decided she couldn't be away from her mom because she wasn't doing so well. So she came back to our house, but she still had the puppy because she had to watch it for her brother who was on vacation.
Oh my gosh.
So now we have grandma, her daughter, which is my wife's aunt, and this puppy. And everybody's hyper-focused on this stupid puppy because they have to take it out every goddamn 2 hours. And it runs around like it's got the zoomies pinging off of everything constantly. And it's a puppy that weighs like 4 pounds. It's a dog that weighs like 4 pounds. It's one of those miniature dogs.
Oh,
like a Chihuahua?
No, if it was a Chihuahua, I would be okay with it because it's a Mexican dog, but it's not.
Is it a Shih Tzu or something? I don't know.
It's called it's, what do you call it? It's a Yorkie combined with the one that starts with an M. So they combine the two of them.
With a Maltese?
Yeah, or something like that. So it's called a Morkie.
A Morkie.
So it's this teeny, tiny dog called a Morkie that looks like a little doll. And
so you're lucky you just didn't step on it by mistake.
Oh, we almost stepped on it several times.
Stepped on it?
Yes.
Wow.
And it would go up and it would because it's a puppy and Sammy's 14. Our dog Sammy is 14 years old. So this dog would go up.
Love Sammy to death.
Put his face in Sammy's face and Sammy would growl and then it would bounce all over the place. And then it would come at her like, hey, Spike, back and forth all the time. And it was very obnoxious. And then it would try to bite your ankles. And it's a little pervert dog. So it's a feet licker. Yeah. So if you got out of the shower and walked by, the dog tries to lick your toes.
Did Sammy like the puppy?
Eventually, but not at first. Like we had to keep them apart.
Right.
But eventually she tolerated the dog, which gives you an understanding of how long that dog was here. That dog was here forever.
Oof, too long.
You have got to be a special kind of idiot to go on vacation when you buy a puppy.
That's ridiculous.
So I guess one of the questions that I want to ask is why did they buy the puppy? We know they bought the puppy, but why did they buy the puppy?
Because they're stupid. Why would you buy? Okay, first of all, those little purse dogs need lots of attention. All dogs need lots of attention. But little purse dogs definitely need a lot of attention.
Oh, yeah.
But they both work. So the little purse
Do they work
dog,
outside of the house?
Yes. So both dogs they have two dogs. One's older, and then they got this purse dog. But they work outside of the house, so they're not there all day. But of course, we are here all day, so that dog got tons of attention all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was teaching it to be a cage fighter, so I was like smacking it around and trying to get it to bite my hand. I was trying to get it to bite my hand, and I was like throwing like a little squirrel at it and making it fight the squirrel. So I was like getting it all riled up. I'm like, yeah. When they
Wait. Go back. How did you grab a squirrel from outside and throw it at
squirrel? It's not a real.
Oh,
squirrel.
I thought you meant a real squirrel.
You know those tiny dogs. You know the tiny dogs were bred to hunt rodents. They're like back in the day, not these new ones because they're weird, but those real tiny dogs that the royal families had and everything. Mm-hmm. Those were rodent dogs, just like the Chihuahua in Mexico. They're rodent dogs.
Now, did Sammy let this little rodent dog play with with the toys?
Sammy only cares about ducks.
Yeah.
Sammy has like 12 ducks in the house. Oh, which reminds me, that dog kept trying to hump one of the ducks.
Well,
and I really wanted to get it. I really wanted to get it on film, but when I finally got my camera around, the dog stopped. But the duck is bigger than that dog, so it was trying to hump a duck.
So you're filming pornos for dogs.
No, I didn't film it. I said I didn't film it. I tried to, but it had already stopped. And it's a girl dog. So I don't know why it was trying to hump this duck. Apparently it's I don't know.
Maybe she's a lesbian. Don't be.
Well, either that or I was like, maybe it's Willie is so small they thought they bought a girl, but it's actually a boy.
Maybe.
Which would be
Did you pick it up and look? I mean, if it's small enough, you could figure it out.
Nah, I did not. I was like, but it was funny though, because this dog is so docile once you pick it up. Like when it's running around, it's pretty wild. But as soon as you pick it up, it goes like just immediately goes into
doll mode. Does it go limp? Kind of like
it literally goes into doll mode. Like it's not animated. You can move it around and like throw it around, and it does nothing. It's just like limp, and it just
it's a little dust rag.
Yeah, pretty much.
Remember, Beaveman, you are this giant. You're picking up this tiny little creature. I mean, you got to be terrifying to this thing. So why?
No, they're not, because they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be
like a possum where it plays dead.
It doesn't play dead. It's like, oh, good, I'm being held. This is my function in life.
Yeah.
They even have one of those things where you put your, how your papoose your kid.
Yeah, a little carrier, like a.
They have one of that for that dog.
Oh, that is just wrong.
Do
they have a stroller too, one of those little baby strollers?
Pretty sure they do. Not only do they have that.
That's all sorts of wrong.
We were all wearing we wear hoodies at home a lot, with like the pockets in the front, and so Amethyst like shoved the dog in there. She walked around with it. With just its head sticking out one end. That's how tiny it is. Have you seen people
where they wear a hoodie and they put the hoodie, they flip it forward and then put the little dog or cat in front in the hoodie?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. So anyway, we got this dog all riled up. So hopefully it's giving those idiots a hard time now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did they enjoy their vacation without their new puppy?
Oh yeah. So this is what happened, right? So they go on vacation. They're on a cruise, and Grandma was not doing so well during that time. And I think that might have been you when you were there. Was the dog there when you were there? The dog wasn't there?
No, it was before.
Dog wasn't there.
I was there prior to that.
Okay. Yeah. Dog wasn't there. So they're on a cruise and we're like, Grandma's not doing so well. And they finally made it back from the cruise. Dog is there the whole time. Then they decide, like 2 days later, after they got back, that they were going to come to our house to be with Grandma, which is fine. I'm like, okay, good. Finally, they can take care of their fucking dog. They didn't take care of their goddamn dog the entire time they were here. Everybody else did. Like they would literally go downstairs, like the aunt would literally go downstairs, take a nap, and the dog would be upstairs running around while we're trying to watch it. I'm like, this is bullshit.
What? It's like having a rogue child in someone's house and not give your own kid. That's bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Ugh,
oh, it was
no.
terrible. It was terrible. I was just watching my daughter wanting to punch this lady in the face. So this is this is how you make good material. So the entire time she was here, and of course, little sweet Grandma, she is with it still at this point. She had a couple of bad days and then she kind of snapped out of it, which was great. She snapped out of it. So she is very good about saying things like, she's like, her big thing, and I've heard her say it before, is she'd say, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So she said that all the time. Like, okay, well, I changed it. I said, if you can't say anything nice, say it louder. That was how I changed it.
I like that. That's funny.
So when Grandma would be napping, because the one relative was so annoying, I kept coming up with jokes. So I would tell them to Grandma while she was napping so that she didn't hear me say them. But I was still getting away with it. So one of the jokes I had was, this person is so dumb that they thought 23andMe was 23 in me, a.k.a. a typical Friday night for her.
Well,
that sounds fun.
well, it does. Sounds like a dating
fun,
site, actually.
Sounds like a lot of work, too.
Yeah. I was like, she's so dumb that she thought jumper cables were an accessory.
Those are nipple clamps.
I was just going to go there, yes.
Woo! When you have large nipples, you have to use bigger clamps.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing the whole time. I was like, oh, God, I can just keep thinking of jokes. But then, of course, we had the funeral. You know,
Yeah.
that
How did that go?
So before the funeral, they said, "Hey, you know, do you mind doing one of the readings at the funeral?" I was like, "Oh, is it like a type 2?"
Type 2.
I'm like, I've got some material I'd like to try out, and they're like, "No, you're doing a reading." I'm like, "Well, I don't. I do my own stuff. I don't like to."
I'm going to improv.
I don't like to. I like to do my own stuff.
Yeah,
Are they trying to give you like a scripture? Yeah.
Yeah, they gave me a thing to read, and I read it. And then afterwards, people were like, "You did a really good job." I'm like, "Thanks." Nobody laughed.
Now, when you were up there reading, how many times did you want to just say, "Hey, who's from out of town here? We got anybody from out of town?" That's great.
Never once. But I was sad. But I was sad that nobody cracked it. Nobody smiled. Nobody laughed. I was like, this material sucks.
Well, it's not good material.
No, it was bad material. And then later on, at the dinner, afterwards we had a luncheon, and people were like, "You did a really nice job." I'm like, "Yeah," nobody laughed. It wasn't original material. I didn't write it, so it wasn't good. I didn't like it. Yeah.
It's old material. Like
it
it's
really
been done
was
so many times.
I mean, it's called Romans. I mean, it's pretty old if it's called Romans. Yeah,
so fucking old.
Yeah,
get over yourself, Romans. Yeah. Let's try something new for the funerals.
Something new up here. Maybe something
It's always the same shit at funerals. Why is it always the same scriptures and the same? Ugh,
you know, did you ever watch the biopic on Andy Kaufman? Right, Jim Carrey started it, I do believe.
I think I watched that. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, they show the Andy Kaufman's funeral, right? And he has this big screen behind him, and he's of course in the casket, but he's still alive on the screen. He's like, "Okay, I want everybody to do this," and he says, "I mean everybody." So I mean, I figured that's the kind of funeral that you should actually go to, where everybody's engaged, everybody's happy, right? It's a sad moment, of course, but everybody's laughing and enjoying themselves and the person and the memories. So that I figure pretty much. Is that how your funeral is going to be, Beaveman?
I wouldn't know.
I want a party. I don't want to have this bullshit where everybody has stairs. I want to be burned, cremated, put into a jar, and then everybody can just have a party around it.
What do you want? What do you want them to do with your ashes? What do you want them to do with them?
I don't care. Do whatever you want with it. It's fucking ashes. What am I? I mean, I'd rather do it where you put it into the tree, where you can become a tree. And you plant it, I think that would be really cool.
Like as your whole body or as ashes?
Well, no, there's a container you can get where you put your ashes into this pod and you bury it, and it grows a tree out of it.
Sure.
It has a tree
they have it where they do it with a full person too.
Oh, really? Oh,
you got to look it up. It's fucking disturbing.
No.
That's what the daughter wants to do. She's like, "Yeah, I want to be buried under it. I want a tree to grow out of me." I'm like, "That's gross."
It's like bones are coming out of
like ancient society, like 100 years, 2,000 years from now, people are like, "What? What did they fuck? What were they doing here?
What'd they do to this poor person?"
There's some like now that like put their dead in trees. It's fucking weird. Yeah. But yeah, you should look it up. It's like literally, it looks like you're in the womb at the bottom of a tree growing out of you.
Oh, interesting. So you're the fertilizer for the trees.
You are part of the tree.
Yeah,
you are one with the tree.
Sense.
On the flip side, what about having your ashes pressurized to form an artificial diamond?
No, I think that's
Yes!
gross. I hate that.
That would be fucking cool.
Yeah.
It grosses
Oh my
me
God.
out.
Yes, please.
I don't like it.
What? Why?
I think it's gross.
Don't you want to wear it on your finger and you'd be like, hi,
No.
Grace.
No.
Hi, Gigi. You're so pretty.
You shine like a diamond in the sky.
Too bad you didn't look like this in real life. Hi-oh.
Oh,
Oh, hey-oh.
No.
That'd be really
no,
cool,
no. You know what? The one that I really hate is when they take their thumbprint and they make it into a necklace and then you wear that around your neck.
Yeah.
That grosses me out too. I don't like that either. Don't like it. No,
No.
what I also don't like though is what do you do with the ashes? Like your idea is a good idea, but like we still have.
Just put it outside by a tree. Just like put it on the ground and let it turn into fertilizer, whatever.
Well, I
Okay.
have my cat's ashes and my dog's ashes, and I'm always like, why can't we just put these out in the back lawn?
Yeah, just put them outside. Why you want to? I don't necessarily have to keep it in a jar. Like if
Years
somebody wants to have
now.
a little bit.
Years now, my dog died in 2017, and my
Yeah.
cat I think died in 2016 or 2015. Still have their ashes. I'm like, what am I doing with these? Why do I have them?
well,
Put them outside.
there's a place in Hell, Michigan. I just went to this summer.
Hey, have you been
where
to Hell,
if you're a
Michigan?
vet, what?
Have you been to Hell, Michigan?
Yeah,
I used to
actually,
live
did.
close to there.
Yeah, it's a great little place. But there's something for the vets and some area. You can pay $60, and there's this little plot. You can have your ashes scattered in hell, and it's really cool.
Mhm.
And the money that you pay to do that goes towards Flowers for Veterans and memorials or something like that. Talk to the mayor about that. It was really cool. But you could always say, okay, I want my ashes scattered in hell, and I thought that is so cool. You do
I'll
that.
pass. I do not want my ashes scattered in hell. I would like them scattered in like lots of different places.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Just have your family take a trip around the world and scatter your ashes.
Or just like in
different
Meyer.
places.
Just like a little bit.
In Meyer.
In Myers.
A little
Go
bit
to
of
Walmart's
Walgreens,
parking
a
lot
little bit
and
of
just
Walgreens.
sprinkle it around the trees around there.
Yeah, Dojo's parking lot. All different
Right.
places like that.
Take them to all the restaurants that I love and just sprinkle it in front of their restaurant.
I like that.
Or sprinkle it on the food. Everybody gets a little piece of
ew.
Gigi.
No.
Ooh. No,
Everybody could get a little piece of Gigi.
I don't want you to get a piece of me like that. That's disgusting.
Everybody could get a piece
No,
of
thank
Gigi. All they gotta have to do is ask.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Only if you're
So
nice about it.
What is your favorite restaurant you like to go to then?
What does
So
this
we
have
know.
to do with it? What does this have to do with it? What,
No. We're not going to talk about Wait, I want to talk
like
about what
pudding.
happened
I like
at
pudding.
my funeral.
Yes, what
Well,
happened
not
at
my
your funeral? What happened at
The
your
funeral that I went to for my aunt. I had to see family members that I haven't seen in a very long time, and most of them were really wonderful. I found the funniest thing about the funeral was, so I had to see my two younger sisters who I don't really talk to anymore because they're whatever. We won't get into that. One of them is a complete fucking asshole. But anyway, we were standing next to each other chatting, and this woman came up to us and said, "Oh, it's the sisters," this weird way, and said, "Oh, you recognize that we're all sisters?" I said, "We all kind of look alike." And she said, "Oh, but you all have different noses." And then we all just sort of looked at each other and said, "Oh, I guess we do." And then the asshole sister was like, "Oh, my nose is big." And didn't say anything, but I was like, "Yeah, you do have the biggest nose, but that's okay. Like, who fucking cares?" But it was just weird. And then things that people say to you go, "Do you remember me?"
Like,
I
fuck
don't
no,
live
I
around
don't.
here. And what am I supposed to say to that question? No, I didn't. And when people ask those kind of questions to you when you haven't seen them or don't remember them, it's just stupid and embarrassing. Why do you say
Yeah.
that to people?
Yeah,
It's-
I'm like,
why?
you know what's a good
I
line
agree.
for that is no, you're not memorable.
I didn't. I was about to say something like that to this woman, but I thought I don't want to be an asshole. And they're all sort of related to me, so I thought, okay, I'll just be quiet.
It's
But
the same kind of line. Yeah, it's the same kind of line of questioning wherever you go. Let's say you're from a local town. They go, "Oh, do you know so and so?
Right.
7 billion people on this fucking planet, and I'm supposed to know that one person."
I would just be like, yeah, they're fucking awesome, or they're an asshole. Just start making it up.
Yeah. Like I heard they were a pedophile.
No, don't say that unless you know for sure. That's not cool. That's pretty horrible.
I know for sure I thought they were a pedophile.
Right. The weirdest thing is, so the church where my parents had this, well, where the funerals taking place, because they do it at the church versus at the funeral home, because there's usually a lot of people that come. Pardon me. And the priest at this church, I am not a fan of this priest, because growing up, I used to go to church with my parents, and now I'm an atheist. I don't go to church anymore. But when I would go to this church, this priest is very like, "Hey, I know you. How are you doing?" So every time he sees me now, he's like, "Why haven't seen you? Why haven't you come to church?" Again, I don't live here. I don't go to church. And he just kept staring at me when anytime they were doing like the sign of the cross during the service. And he kept watching me to see if I was going to do it. And I just stood there and stared like, not doing it, bro. Not going to do it.
Oh, it's silly. My wife's aunt, she's pretty funny. She was telling us that like we had the priest come to our house and, sit with grandma, and pray with all of us. And he was giving us communion. And my aunt's like, he was asking who was going to take communion. We're like, yeah, we'll take communion. And my aunt was like, I'm not allowed to take communion. And we're like, what? She's like, yeah, my priest said that because I haven't done confession for X amount of time, I'm not allowed to take communion. And I'm like, who the fuck is your priest?
So
I'm like,
weird.
Since when? I'm like, I haven't done communion since I broke my neck, and I can take I haven't done confession since I broke my neck. I can take communion. I'm like,
I didn't think that was a rule.
It's not. I'm like, what? I'm like, what fucked up church do you go to? I was like, whatever.
Is that Catholicism where they say you can't take?
I've never heard that, and I've never heard that, and I was raised Catholic. I've never heard
actually, that. If you leave the church, right, you break vows or break.
She didn't leave the church. She didn't leave the church. She just said she hasn't done confession for a while. That's all.
Some people are deeply religious like that. We call them nutcases. Well, it's just what it is.
You're saying that's what the priest told
devout.
Her. Like, no, and you can't leave the Catholic Church. You basically have to be. You can, but unless the Pope tells you you're not Catholic, you can always be Catholic. You don't have to go to church.
It's so weird. Pass.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Well, I didn't grow up Catholic, so I'm fine with that.
I did. So I grew up Catholic. So
I grew up Orthodox, which is it's like Catholic light. Priests can get married, but it's very long services.
See, they should do that. They should get married. That's why they're so fucking weird.
The whole thing with being celibate is fucking ridiculous because humans are not made to be celibate. And when you're forcing people to do it because of religion, why do you think there are so many fucking pedophiles in the Catholic Church?
Allegedly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Allegedly. Oh, no, I've had friends who've been fucked by priests. There's no allegedly. It has happened.
Allegedly.
Yes, whatever.
Allegedly.
So disgusting. So disgusting. It's, ugh.
Well, it's not allegedly disgusting. It is disgusting.
Yeah, it's not it is absolutely
I've never seen you cringe at anything, and that's really cool.
Oh, it makes me cringe. It's awful.
Wait a minute now. Let's go back now. So it's odd that Grace would cringe at pedophiles?
No, I just cringing in general. It's like it takes a lot to make somebody cringe these days with all the news and the bad news and what's going on in the world. And
I mean, I feel like any time I hear someone is a pedophile or about pedophiles, it would make anyone cringe.
Yeah,
it's awful and horrible. And having children of my own, if somebody were to ever touch my kids, I would lose my mind.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what else you want to say.
Hot take.
I feel like most people agree with that.
Yeah, hot
and
take,
if you don't,
Gigi.
then what is wrong with you?
Hot take from Gigi.
Yes.
She would be upset if someone touched her children.
Oh,
Gee, I think we'd all feel that way.
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for filling us in.
I would hope so.
Anyway, so did you come up with any good material?
No, not really. It was more of interesting to watch people and how they react to things. I do have a couple of cousins that are really hardcore, like Trump supporters, and I don't really like them. And I know it was. So one of them, she lives in Florida, and she saw me from afar and kind of looked at me, and I was like, hi. And then I didn't, because I've like blocked her, and I'm not connected with her on social media anymore, because when the 2020 election happened and she was like, Trump is wonderful, I was like, fuck you, bye, I'm done.
Fuck
so
you,
I think she didn't want to talk to me.
Fuck you, bye.
So when you guys go to funerals, and I haven't been to one in a while, thank God, is that when people try to connect, do they try to force their politics on you?
That's not necessarily what happened, but I feel like for those who are quite devout to particular politicians will love to talk about it if they can. Nobody really talked to me about politics. Really, we were talking more about what's happening to our people.
Your people.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Yes. I'm not going to, well, we don't need to get into that right now, but that was really the biggest thing. Yeah. Do you know what that means, Ron? When I say my people?
Honestly, I do not. Oh, that is a nice boob shot. Thank you.
It wasn't meant for the boob shot. It was meant for the shirt,
boobs,
jackass.
Okay.
That was literally all he was paying
Your
attention
people.
to.
Most people call them girls boobs.
No, I'm talking about Palestinians.
Sweater puppies.
Oh my God, whatever. We won't get into the politics.
It was
anyway.
like two puppies fighting under a blanket.
Yes, that's not why I was showing my tits, but that it was through a shirt. Thank you very much.
Two puppies fighting under a blanket.
Okay, fantastic.
I hope you enjoyed the show, Rons.
I did indeed. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, goodness.
For those who can't see, you missed out.
Yes, I have a large bosom. Deal with it.
Now he's got to wash his pants. You.
Yep.
Ron needs to take a break and clean up.
You.
There you go.
Gross.
There you go.
Gross. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I got material, so I'm good.
Yeah. What'd you get?
No, I'm not relinquishing all my material. So
no, it doesn't be all of it.
No, it's just in general, people how they respond to. Yeah, I was noticing. I was kind of disappointed actually, because we were all hanging out after, not hanging out, but we were at Grandma's house, and my Mexican family, as an example, responds to death a lot differently than this family did. Like, they weren't coming to terms with their feelings. They weren't really talking about their feelings. They weren't really talking about memories. They were talking about stupid shit. And so I made a comment to my wife's other aunt that I was like, this is really weird to me because my family, at least my Mexican family, responds a lot differently to death. You know, one, they cry their heads off, for one thing. They cry, but they also share memories and share happy memories. They laugh, they cry together, they hug each other, all those things, whereas they did not. I was like, this is really
white people
weird.
react to death differently than Mexicans.
Yeah, it's very weird
a cultural
to me.
Thing.
Yeah, very weird to me. I was like, I prefer how my Mexican half of the family reacts to death. And of course they eat.
I found out for my aunt's funeral that she picked out the outfit she was going to wear when she died, which I thought was hilarious. So one of my cousins was like, did you know that she picked this out to wear? And I was like, she looks good. I don't know. That's great. Good for her picking out her outfit. It's her last decision in life. This is what I'm going to fucking wear for the rest of my life. In my casket as I'm deteriorating.
Yeah. No, it was funny because what Grandma wore, we could trace so Grandma kept her wardrobe.
Forever?
Forever. I mean, you could see there's pictures of her, one of the sweaters that Summer has.
Yes.
Was Grandma's sweater. She got it from her house and stuff after Grandma passed because she wants to remember her. You could see that sweater through the years in different pictures. Yeah. The dress
so she has various clothing from different eras and she's kept all of it?
She just kept them. She used to wear, I don't know if you noticed, but when you were here, she wore this little knit vest.
Yes.
And she wore that all the time. That was, I think Amethyst said that was Amethyst's vest when she was in middle school.
What?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, that was loud. That's pretty
she's so
hilarious.
tiny, but she's so tiny.
She is.
Yeah. You know, she was only 4'11".
Seriously, she's a tiny little lady, and she's so thin. She was so thin, poor baby.
But we were laughing because the dress that she was interned in, interred in. Anyway, we were laughing because it's this blue dress she has. Well, yeah. She wore that dress to our wedding.
What? That's awesome.
She wore that dress to our wedding 18 years ago. And then Amethyst's aunt, Ken and Jen, who I refer to as Kennifer, she wore it to their wedding. So we have all these pictures of Grandma decades ago wearing this blue dress. So I'm like,
did you guys take a selfie with her? with the dress and this casket, like, hey,
no,
look,
I
Grandma.
do not do that.
I'm just kidding.
I do not like people who take pictures at funerals.
Have
I think it's
were people
disgusting.
doing that?
No, but people do. No, but people do
ridiculous.
take pictures at funerals.
I know. I don't understand that.
That used to be the norm.
What?
People,
what do you
yeah, you look it up.
Yeah.
That there was a history where people would take pictures of relatives. They would pose them, and before they
wait. I'm talking about the person who's dead. Are they taking selfies with the dead person?
They used to do that a long time ago.
They didn't call them selfies then.
Yeah, they didn't call them selfies now.
What do they call them? Ussies?
Yeah, well,
we call them photos.
It used to be a thing.
You don't even have to look it up. There are photo albums that I've seen of my relatives where there's pictures of their dead relatives in it in the casket.
Oh, that's wild.
And they look so natural just lying there, don't they?
Oh yeah, they look absolutely amazing.
You're gonna jump in the casket with them and like, look, we're napping together.
No, I remember actually when my grandma died when I was 12, and of course I was devastated because she was like my best friend. But anyway, I can remember my dad. We were getting ready to go to the funeral, and my dad was like, "Should I grab the camera?" And I was like, what the fuck are you grabbing the camera? I didn't say fuck, but I really wanted to. And my dad's like, to take pictures of your grandma. I'm like, oh my God, please do not do that. If you do, I swear to God, I will lose my shit.
I find that interesting that you would want pictures of the person when they're dead. I don't.
Oh, look how good
they're actually, one of my cousins was taking photos at the funeral, but not of the casket necessarily, but people at the funeral, I believe, which was, I found kind of odd.
Like upskirt shots?
No, just from like far away. I think just he wanted pictures of the people that attended the funeral and wanted family photos, which I get.
I get that. That's where I was going with that. Yeah. When was the last time the three sisters, the one with the big nose, got together?
Okay, so you don't need to take pictures. I think that's the worst time to take pictures.
I wasn't about to take pictures of my sisters. Fuck them.
Yeah, it's like, you want to stand back. Don't let the nose get in the picture.
Oh, that would have been so great. Can you stand back a little? Your nose is taking up a lot of space in this photo.
It's casting a shadow.
Right, it's casting a shadow.
No, I don't get it. I just realized that I've had too much death. Already last year, I think it was, what was it? October that my aunt died? Oh. And as soon as she died, so we were at the funeral at my aunt's, and they had just, and they don't waste any time. As soon as they're in the ground, they just dirt.
Yeah.
And so we're all standing there, and I was like, I don't personally like to see them buried right away. I'm like, I just like to walk off. But of course, they're all Mexican, and Puerto Rican, so they want to stand around. And so they buried her, and then they put the big board on top of the dirt. And then they put the flowers on top of the boards. And then they all said, well, we need to take a picture together as a family. And I was like, I don't want to take a picture as a family. And they're like, no, come on, let's take a picture. And I just find that so stupid, so that I wrote a joke about it. But in the joke, the setup is this. I says, you know what? People, there's a lot of heartache in the world, and there's a lot of bad things going on. And people just, the way to fight that is to smile. People need to smile more. I was with this group of people the other day, and I said, you know what? Let's all get together and take a picture. But nobody was smiling. I said, listen, I know we just buried my aunt. But that's no reason to ruin a good photo opportunity.
Come on. We're all here. We might as well take a photo.
And then I said, I go, and then I realized that might have been a bit insensitive. So I rephrased it and I said, listen, I know what I just said may have seemed a bit insensitive. What I meant to say was, I know we just buried your mom.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
But that's still no reason to ruin a good photo opportunity.
I was sitting next to my dad during the service. So we had a 2-day funeral where Sunday night was the viewing and some people could come visit and pay their respects. And then Monday morning was another service, burial, meal of mercy is what they have, is how it usually works out, which I find to be very interesting, that you expect the family, after having buried their loved one, you have to feed everybody that comes to the funeral. Why? Why are you making people spend more money to feed someone? Like, that to me doesn't make any sense. But I could see where it would happen in, years ago, like a small group of people coming or whatever. to the funeral and you want to feed them. But this is like, it's a huge expectation. And I just left because I said, they didn't have a lot of food. And I wasn't about to stay and like, make them feel bad that they didn't purchase enough food for everyone. It's just ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah.
People
No,
are very
but
focused.
part of that, that's part of it though too, is that people just want a fucking free meal too.
That's exactly right. And that's absurd.
Like,
yeah, I never thought about it. I mean, people are dying all over the place. I mean, I go to a lot of funerals and get fed. I never thought about it.
You got snacks here? What you got here, guys? You got some Cheez-Its? What you got? Some hot dogs? What do we got?
Hold on. I got my camera. Let me take a selfie here.
I want to take a picture for my Insta. Look at the food we have at this funeral. It's fantastic.
Well, the other thing that pisses me off is people that act like they knew her so well.
Right.
And they act like they were such a pivotal part. And like this, oh my God. I wish I could this bitch.
They're so sad about it. Oh, I miss her so much. How many times have you visited her?
This bitch, I will say it, this bitch came up to my wife to tell her, you did such a good job with your grandma and blah, 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 blah. And blah, blah, blah. Oh, you did all these things. I'm like, she would not shut the fuck up. And then she was talking about our grandma and how wonderful she was and blah, blah, blah. Met her twice. Met her 2 times, and she was at the fucking funeral, and then she has the nerve to tell us about how, you did such a good job taking care of your grandma, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch. And then she went to the fucking, to the dinner, too, and I was like, bitch, you didn't know grandma. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here.
You don't get food unless you've known her for a while.
This was bullshit. And all these, it was all the same stuff. I was like, oh, really? You knew her so well? Well, I was there when she passed. Were you? Shut the fuck up. Like, the only good thing about it was that I got to sit with my wife's uncle, Aaron. And Uncle Aaron is as antisocial as I am. So we were just sitting there. Like, he's the perfect dude. You know, retired as a Detroit motorcycle cop. He does not mingle. So if
he just wants to sit back and
he just
chill.
sits there.
Yeah.
You know, he drinks straight whiskey. He doesn't put anything in his whiskey. Like, he drinks straight whiskey. He eats what he wants. He goes out to dinner all the time. He was sitting there at the table with me. He never speaks. I don't speak unless somebody speaks to me. And I was like, you know what? He's like the perfect dude. Him and I could like hang out for hours and never speak. It would be
That sounds
awesome.
boring to me.
You say boring, I say awesome. And
no,
then his wife.
That's that. Believe it or not, that is an actual. That's a police officer's reaction to crowds. They will not talk. They will sit there and observe a lot. My brother's a police officer, or is a federal officer, and we went to a bar one night, and he was just real quiet, observing the crowd, just that's
him. I just didn't want to talk to you.
Probably, just like maybe they didn't want to talk to you, but
anyway, I wasn't going to tell my story, but let me finish my story there. So anyway, he's sitting there at the table, and his wife is like, well, I guess I better get up and mingle. And so she gets up to go mingle. And my daughter was sitting there with me and Uncle Aaron. I'm like, the day I get up and mingle is the day Uncle Aaron gets up first. Because I will not, and he will never get up and mingle, so I don't have to worry about it.
Okay. So you found your people at the funeral.
That's the way it always is. I never have to say a fucking word to him. I can actually do this, Aaron. Be like, meh. That's it. That's all he's going to do.
Not even a word. Meh. Just a grumble.
Whole entire conversation transpired in those few guttural sounds.
Pretty much. Yep. That's all you got to do. He is not an over talker, which is nice. It's quite nice.
I ended up spending the night at my parents' house, which I have not done since my brother died almost 6 years ago. It was very strange. So my parents are much older. They've been retired for a while. And let me tell you, when you haven't been around your parents for a while and you have to spend the night at their house and you realize how cuckoo nuts they are because they keep the house at 74 degrees. I was essentially cooking when I was there. I actually went to bed early because I didn't want to have to
You don't want to hang out with them. You don't want to hang out with them. You want to have a conversation.
I mean, I talk to them enough, but the problem is they bicker so much, and it's hard to watch because my dad has dementia kicking in now, unfortunately, and my mom can't stand it, so she's just like yelling at him all the time to be quiet and stop telling stories, and I want to hear the stories because I don't hear all these stories necessarily all the time. And he talks about stuff from his childhood that I don't even know about.
Right.
So it was kind of cool to hear that stuff. But then they decided to sit down, and my dad looks at me and said, "Do you have Netflix?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Have you ever seen this show, Virgin River? I didn't think I'd like it. So good. Your mom and I watch it. And it's really good. And it's basically some sort of like soap opera sitcom on Netflix." I have never, and I sat there literally for 5 minutes with them, watched the show, and I was starting to make fun of it, but then I didn't want to make fun of what they're, so I just like, you know what? You guys enjoy your show. I'm going to go to bed early. I'm really tired. But essentially I went back into my room, closed the door, and I was calling people like, "Save me. It's so fucking hot in here. I can't, I'm melting. I'm melting. I'm having a hot flash and it's 74 degrees in this house." So then I'm like busting the window open, just trying to get some cold air in the house. It was awful. And finally, when I slept, I finally went to bed, whatever, took a gummy and got high as fuck and went to bed. It was great. And then I realized I'm high in my parents' house. I've never been high in my parents' house. And it was to go to sleep. So then I wake up in the morning and it's probably like, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock. And my dad has been up for hours, evidently. He said, "I thought I was going to come in and have to wake you up. I have an alarm. I know what time to get up. I'm an adult. I understand these things. But because I slept in past whatever, 5 a.m., whatever time he woke up, I've slept in too long or something."
Should have gave him a gummy.
I wish I could have given my mom a gummy. That would have been great. Shut her the fuck up. Jeez. Crazy.
I thought you were going to say you heard him going at it. I was like, ew.
Oh, no. That's happened before when I was younger. And let me tell you, it was not fun. I called them out on it too.
They're like, doing that tongue thing you Palestinians do.
No, that's not what they did. You don't do that when you're. But that's kind of funny, actually. No, the funny part was I remember when I was younger and they were upstairs and I heard them. I was in like the family room and they're up going at it. And I was like, "What the hell? Are they up there having sex?" And next morning I was like, "You guys could have kept it down a little bit." And my mom and dad are like, be quiet. Why are you saying something?" I'm like, "Because it's funny. And I love making fun of people and embarrassing you. So that's what I do."
So when you were at your parents', did you revert back to some of the old rules that they had? I mean, growing up?
No, I mean, I would clean up after myself, and I normally do that anyway, but not really. But the crazy thing is because my mother is very food focused, the minute I would sit down, she's like, "Okay, let me make you something. Let me make you this. You hungry? Do you want this? Do you want this?" And I'm like, chill for like 5 minutes. I'm fine. I can make my own food, but no, she just wants to make a whole huge crazy meal, which is nice. I appreciate that. I just didn't want all the food she was offering. Even when we came back from the funeral in the evening.
You want hummus? You want
hummus? You want chips? She's pulling out lupini beans. Who the fuck eats lupini beans as a snack?
I don't know.
My parents.
Lupini beans.
They're like these. They're like waxy yellow beans, and you pop them out. I don't know what another name for them is, but I looked at them like, "What are you guys eating?" There's like, "Look, there are these beans," and I was like, "Why are you eating those as a snack?" I did like before bed. Who eats beans as a snack before bed?
You want falafel?
You want falafel? You want hummus? What do you want? Yellow, let's eat. It was so fun. And then my mom's pulling out pistachios and Doritos. She's just like, all these snacks are coming out. I'm like, no. I'm good. I'm going to bed. You guys watch your show, eat your beans. I'm going to sleep.
Eat your beans, pack your ass.
4:30 in the afternoon is 4:30 p.m. You're like, "I'm going to bed now."
I can't. I used to do that like many years ago. I would do that. I would go to my parents' house the night before I would go hunting in the morning so I could get up really early and go hunting.
Oh, and I did that. Off?
I did that like 2 years and I was like, I'm never doing that again.
That's early. Yeah, I don't mind getting up early. That's fine. It's just I was tired, and especially being high off that gummy, it was great. I almost took one the day before at the funeral, but then I knew if I took a gummy before the funeral, I would be saying things to family members that I probably shouldn't, because the filter just goes bye-bye.
Yeah.
Which would have been kind of funny.
Yeah, but I just wanted to
drink.
Yeah, you do. I mean, that's the nice part. I mean, I don't really I have a filter, but I know how to control my filter, but also.
But don't you just want to turn it off? Like, you sister with the big nose, come here. I want to tell you something.
No, she's her own worst enemy. I don't say any shit to her anymore because I don't really want to converse with her. So it's very minimal conversations with her.
No, it was kind of funny though, because, our little grandma's so sweet, but, Amethyst was like, well, I've been nice to my people in the family for this long because of my mom, but now because of my grandma, but now, fuck it.
Yeah, no, nope.
She's gone.
She doesn't need to be
Gloves
nice
are
to
off
anybody.
now. She's like, gloves are off now.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you were nice before?
So that brings me to a point here, or an observation, is that usually the person that passes away most of the time is the reason that you don't cut loose. You're like, okay, I'm going to refrain because I respect that person, or I don't want to start any shit. But now that they're gone, do you feel like you just needed to let it fly?
I mean, I do it anyway. I've been pretty much like that most of my life.
That's why I said, I was like, when were you? I'm like, you were holding back for...
Well,
what were you holding back
now
for?
I'm a little more tactful about it if people are being an asshole, but I'll just walk away if somebody's being a jerk to me.
It's just material now. Now for everything I look at now is like just material. I'm like, oh, that's material.
Yeah, exactly.
What stupid thing did you just say? Okay, I got that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I just found it funny because there was also a whole nother weird conversation where another aunt came up to me and she has stopped color. So a lot of women, obviously color their hair. They don't like having the hair to be white, which I think it's gorgeous. I don't color my hair. I'm excited that the gray's coming in. I'm fine with it. But my two younger sisters have had white. Their hair went gray way before mine has ever gotten. Mine's just starting to now. And they're much younger. Well, not much. One's like 2.5 years. One's 8 years younger than me. And the youngest sister, she was telling me her hair is like pretty white at this point. And she looked at my hair and she was like, oh yeah, no, I don't. I color mine all the time. And I was like, okay.
That makes it worse.
I think so.
Makes it worse.
But
it's going to be like
whatever.
straw. Whatever.
Yeah, and her hair's, we all have curly hair, and the problem is anytime you do that to curly hair, it's just going to damage it even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't just...
Fuck that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. So it was weird and odd. I don't know. And some of the family members are just so strange. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a reason why I don't like people. I'm like,
I mean, I enjoy people. The ones I like, I want to hang out with them, but...
but you don't get to pick. You don't get to pick.
You don't get to choose your family, as they say, right? You choose your friends, not your family.
And you don't get to pick who you're exposed to when you're at something like a funeral. Thankfully, nobody talked to me. That was the nice thing.
They knew better.
Well, Amethyst says I have that look of don't go talk to him. I have that.
Yeah,
look.
if you sometimes you get the look in your face like, don't fuck with me, which is, if knowing you, it's just you, it's just your face. But other people,
it's just your face.
It's just your face. And no, it's not like I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm saying that that's just how your face is sometimes, especially when you're deep in thought. He gets that very blue steel look.
Yes. It has served me well because people do not just come up and talk to me. So it has served me well.
They think you're not approachable, so they won't come up to you.
Yeah.
So what else didn't you like about the funeral that you went to? Obviously, it was a very poignant memory, but there, other than people that you didn't like, right? What didn't you like about it?
You talking to me or you talking to Beaveman?
Yeah, both of you.
Oh,
that my relative died.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of that.
Fan.
That was
not a fan.
I'm not a fan of the whole church ceremony stuff that we have to listen to for
like 3 days. Ours was like 3 days too. We had, they had the day one was we had the memorial ceremony, and then we had a rosary after that.
Oh,
and then the next day we had the funeral and the luncheon. And then the following day, just immediate family went to the internment.
Yeah, do you go there and have coffee? Because that's what our family does too.
No, we went there and froze our butts off because it was freezing.
Oh, okay.
And
my family does it where they go the next morning and have coffee.
And it was my birthday. And it was my birthday.
Oh, you were sorry. I missed your birthday.
It's almost like waiting for the resurrection to happen. Like, okay, Christ died, and 3 days later he rose up. We're like, come on, Grandma, let's see if you're going to come back to life.
Well, you know what? This is what pissed me off. I will say this. So we had this very nice priest come from Augusta's church. Very nice guy. Super, super nice. So he came, prayed with our grandma, did the host, communion, and put a tiny little piece underneath her lip so it could dissolve there because she was kind of out of it. And he said, I've done all these things so grandma can make it into the kingdom of heaven, blah, blah, blah. Well, then we go to the mass, the rosary, And her priest from her church says, grandma's not in heaven yet. So we got to do these things to help her out to make it. And I was like, and I'm like sitting there going, motherfucker, she's there. She was there as soon as she died. And the priest here said she was good to go. So he says this at the rosary. He's like, oh, yeah, this is why we're doing the rosary, to help her out so she can make it into heaven. And he's like, okay, thanks, guys. And then at her funeral, motherfucker said the same goddamn thing. Oh, grandma's not there yet, guys. We got to do this ceremony. She can't make it in there if we don't do this ceremony.
It's sort of like going to a bar, getting the stamp on so you get back in, and then they go, you can't get in just yet. Hold on. You got to pay a cover charge.
Yeah, I was like, motherfucker. I was like,
The
motherfucker,
Catholics
are
really
you?
know how to
I have never heard that before. I've never seen that done before. I was like, man, no wonder like churches turning people away. Oh, you're not good to go yet.
You're not good to go. You didn't do your rosary, which how many times do you have to say it when somebody dies? It's like an insane
53.
amount of time. How many?
Well, any rosary is 53.
53 times?
Yeah.
You have to say it 53 times. That's dumb.
Hey,
how is that going to help anybody?
It's actually helps the person who's saying it. It's more like a form of meditation.
That makes sense.
It's the repetitiveness, and you follow that, and it just makes you calm down and
yeah.
But no, I was like, I was so bad. I was like, motherfucker, she's over there.
That's kind of silly that he kept saying it because
plus grandma was 98, and he's like, my guess was like late 60s, early 70s. Like, she has got you by decades, my friend. She's been praying decades longer than you. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. She's there. If you want to get in, she probably has to help you.
Does that help him with recruiting for the Catholic Church by saying that she's not there? I don't know what to...
Didn't help me. I'm like,
priests go to funerals to scope out to see who can be the next priest there. I was like,
they're doing recruitment. That's all they're doing. They're like, hey, you want to join this club? It's pretty.
And as soon as they allow women to be priests, I mean, it'll open it up even more.
Well, other churches do. I don't understand why that's a thing. It's such baloney. I mean, even in the Orthodox Church, women can't go beyond a certain point up onto I forgot what it's called. I don't know. And I'm like, that's dumb.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen documentaries on stuff like that. I never understood anything like that.
Because it's the patriarchy.
I don't know why women want to achieve these things in the patriarchy anyways. Like, I don't want to fuck either, so I want to be up here.
Oh, no, I don't want that part. That's dumb.
What?
Celibate? No, thank you.
You're keeping me from I can't achieve this goal of being a priest and not getting to fuck. God
you're not even supposed to masturbate.
I want to break I want to break the glass ceiling.
Wait, as a Catholic, you can't even drop seed, right? You're not even supposed to masturbate. Is that correct?
Yeah. See, that's the whole thing, though. If
you guys are like,
the Old Testament. Okay, so you can interpret that however way you want to. That is not true. The story is he banged his brother's wife and then he nutted in the desert. Like he nutted outside of her.
Wait.
I don't interpret that as you can't masturbate. I interpret that as it's not right for you not to come inside the holster.
You can't nut into somebody else's wife.
Well, I don't want to get you pregnant. Hold on. Here's an earlier form of birth control. They haven't written about this, but they're going to interpret it the way it is.
That's how I interpret it. I don't interpret it as saying you can't jerk off. I interpret it as saying if you're going to fuck, you got to dump.
Oh, my God. But not
you can't just spill it on the floor.
There you go.
Where do you spill it?
It's kind of unwritten in the Bible.
Inside the holster.
Come and dump.
Did you say the holster?
That's what I said. Inside the cock holster. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Cock holster.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my God. The dumpster? Is that what you're going to call it now?
Come dumpster.
Oh my Lord.
I prefer cock holster.
Sweet, sweet honey pot.
Well, there you go. I was going to say, what would you call it?
My sweet flower. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it.
I like to call it the cookie jar.
The cookie jar.
The cookie jar.
Would you like a taste of my sweet cookies?
Yes.
Well, we've already seen the puppies.
Puppies, cookies. I got all of them, yeah.
All right.
What do you call the asshole then? What's the asshole cut then?
Shit talker.
Shit talk. No, that's what you are, Ron's.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, the asshole's the chamber. the mortar
The
tube.
chamber. Oh, the chamber of secrets.
There's not much of a secret there. It's not much of a secret there.
One in the chamber, one in the dumpster.
Right.
And then one in the mouth. You got to hit all three.
What is it? 2 in the stink, 1 in the pink?
Oh, Jesus.
Or the other way around?
Oh, no, isn't the stink supposed to be... Your mouth is not a stink.
Dumbass.
Well, think lower on that. Think lower.
I know what you're talking about, Rons. I'm saying
She's had
you
a
said
fill
2 in the
hold.
stink, which indicates that your asshole and your mouth are going to be... The mouth is also a stink, right?
Some long fingers.
No, that's a long stretch for that, but if you want to.
You said 2 in the stink. I'm just going off what you said.
Yeah, of course you are. And we'll go with that.
Oh my God.
It's 2 in
my
1,
asshole
Roz.
hurts now from
It's
this
2
whole
in 1.
conversation.
Maybe I should have put the 2 in the stink then, right there.
No, you did it again. He did it again.
Are you saying we're doing a double penetration in the butthole? Is that what you're
He
saying?
just
Ron?
said it again.
There
He
you go.
went to correct himself, but then he said the same thing.
Yeah, he said that it's not 2
He's
in the
like-
stink. It's 1 in the stink, 1 in the pink, dummy.
No, it's 2 in the
Maybe
pink.
I
1
want
in
it
the
stretched
stink.
out.
Oh. In your stink? Okay. You
It's
want to be
2
nice?
in the
Is that what you're
pink,
saying?
1 in the stink.
No.
That's how it goes. Anyway, well, that was
Anyway.
a wonderful way. What a wonderful way to end the show.
I
Oh my
like
God.
that. Pink and stink.
Well, that was fun. Well, thank you all for joining us so much for our people all over the world. This is really odd, but we made the charts in. I can't even think of the name of it. Sorry, guys.
I thought
don't
we
mean
made the
to be
charts in
rude.
Egypt.
What?
We haven't made the charts in Egypt for a
my
while. We made
people
the
are
chart-
gonna.
This is where we made the charts in Cyprus.
Oh, in Cyprus. Oh, nice.
We actually made it all the way up to. We made it all the way up to like number 7 in Cyprus.
Oh, because the Greeks like talking about this kind. They're gonna talk about the stink and the pink. I love that.
So thanks, Cyprus, if you're listening.
Thanks, Cyprus.
You guys don't even speak English as far as I know. You speak Greek and Turkish mostly, but thanks for listening. We appreciate
That's
We appreciate
They're learning
it.
English through your
Thank you.
podcast.
That would be hilarious if people were trying to learn
always
English by
great.
listening to our podcast. Also, thank you to our listeners all over the world for getting us on the charts, if you will. And thanks to our audience members who came out to see us on March 9th. What a great show. It was a really good show. Our next show is on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. That's going to be a kick-ass show.
Ooh, yes.
We have got an amazing cast for that one, you guys. It is going to be awesome. So if you like dressing up, cosplay it the fuck up. And if anybody even thinks for 1 second you're going to step in there with some Star Trek gear, you're going to get your ass fucking lit the fuck up and beat the shit out of. So don't
I
do
have an
that.
R2D2 dress. I'm excited. I'm going to wear that.
Awesome. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for me. Thanks again. Oh, and look out this month on March 25th. The Monsters Lair is back. They will be releasing their episode that day. So shout out to JD
All right,
Hutchins, The
JD
Monsters
is
Lair.
back.
And that's it for me, the Beaveman. Adios. Mooch fuckos.
Masalami habibis.
And to all the listeners out there, this is the Rons. You know what I'm going to say. Say it every podcast. Stay sane, motherfuckers. It's a crazy world out there.